Thought it was a really good college baseball game. Two competitive teams. I thought their starter did a good job, and I thought Trey was just unbelievable in so many ways. Landing multiple pitches for a strike, moving the fastball in and out, threw it up and down. He was very, very special, and I thought our defense played a major part in this game. Our ability to make plays all over the infield was crucial, and obviously we got some timely hitting. None bigger than the guy standing right next to me, sitting right next to me, Ryan Nicholson, a Kentucky boy, to do that on this stage, pretty awesome.
Okay, looking for questions for these student athletes. If you guys don't mind raising your hand and then identifying your name and outlet. We'll start in the front.
Yep. Daniel Hager, Kentucky Sports Radio. Ryan, you set the pace early with that 2-run home run. Just what'd you see on that?
I felt like we gave ourselves some breathing room. Obviously, just kind of set the tone early. So really just going off of that, it felt obviously awesome, but obviously there was a lot to game to play with for the rest of it. So yeah, it was good to get it. It was good to get out to an early lead and kind of take a deep breath there after that. But it was just, kind of gave Poos some breathing room there, really.
With John in the middle.
John Clay Lexington earlier. Trey, just talk about your performance, what you felt like was working for you well today.
Yeah, I felt like just filling up the zone. I mean, I was trying to get ahead as much as possible, and fastball changeup combo was working really well today. Didn't really have feel for my curveball as much, but the fastball changeup really played today.
Can I follow up on that? You were able to work out a couple of jams, especially that one in the second inning after Ryan's homer 2-0. How big was it? One out, bases loaded, to get out of that jam and keep that lead.
Oh, awesome. It was awesome. My defense behind me, thankfully they were there to help me. And I don't really remember exactly what happened in that inning, but yeah, I was glad we got out of that.
Ryan, I'm not sure if you know this or not, but you hit your 19th home run of the season today, and I think that's tied for the most at Kentucky since Coach has been here. How special is it to kind of be in that category?
I didn't know that. I didn't know any of those numbers. I mean, that's pretty cool to do that. Obviously, that's all well and good. And at the end of the day, when I'm done playing or whatever, that's something I can look back on. But right now, it's just try and barrel the ball up really, and try and put some runs on the board for my team. Really, that's all well and good, but that's whatever.
For either of you guys, as Coach talked about yesterday, you guys had lost, had to come out of the loser's bracket after that second game. How big was this to get this win and give you that you're just one win away now from the Super Regional?
I think the biggest thing is probably that we used two guys today. I think it really sets up, us for the rest of the weekend. What Poos did today was, absolutely spectacular, and Hag's coming in behind him, and we have a lot of fresh guys in the pen right now that we have, so I think that's probably the biggest takeaway, I think, from today's game at least.
Paul Novielli, 102.7 the game. Talk a little bit about the game moving up, what effect, if any, it had, but also knowing that the weather was going to potentially be bad and seeing that crowd not only strong in the beginning, but sticking through that weather, and how that really fed you guys in the dugout during the game.
I don't think it really I don't think the game moving up really affected us too much. I mean, we were going to be ready to play whenever, and then the weather. I mean, we have that weather all the time here. It seems like for every Friday, and sometimes Saturdays. The whole season it's just been raining and cold, and thankfully it was nice weather today for the temperature at least. And I just think we just knew that was our weather, and we just played how we play.
Go up to the top left with Nick Mingione.
Nick Gabriel, SEC Network, for both of you guys. You come through the portal, there are players who were here successful last year, and you add to that, you do things you haven't done before. What's that been like, assimilating within one season and just ticking off all these different goals with guys who are your teammates for less than a year now? You're pulling it all together this week.
Well, I think that comes really in the grand scheme of things, talking about gelling together. I think that's a lot in the fall. I mean, we're out there together nearly every day. And then I think coming in as a transfer, I think for me and Poos especially, and a lot of guys also in that locker room who are transfers, we have our own established identity already. We know who we are. We know what we're good at. And I think we excel at doing that when we came here. And yeah.
Go to Jeff from the front.
Ryan, Jeff Drummond, Rivals.com. One of the big plays the coach may have been referring to defensively, Petrie made the double play. What'd you see on that? It looked like he needed every bit of whatever size glove he had.
We talked about this in the post game. Just a really athletic play from Petrie, and like he's been making those plays. I think he's made quite a few of them over the course of the season, and just something like that really at the start of I think it was the top of the inning, just really can give our team and Pooser a lot of momentum going forward. Especially it can suck the life out of the other team offensively. So I think that was just a big momentum swing, and that got a lot of boys going there.
Coming over to the front right here.
Not seeing us line, I guess, for Trey, just on Illinois' lineup, just being so power-oriented and aggressive, was that part of your game plan to almost maybe use that against them, or what was your thought process in trying to get up and down the lineup?
Just fill up the zone, throw strikes, get ahead as early as possible, and just stay our plan that we've been doing the whole season. Just attacking hitters from pitch one and try and get that lead out.
Okay.
Trey, going back to the beginning of the season, you started out of the bullpen, and now at this point, a great start in the SEC tournament and a great start today. Could you have kind of foreseen that success earlier this year?
No, I mean, you always want to do good. I mean, you don't ever know exactly how it's going to go, and everything doesn't always go as planned, but I'm glad it has gone the way it has, and just keep rolling, just got to keep going.
Okay, at this time, players, you guys are free to go, and we'll take questions for Coach.
Should get it up after you run. Good job. Right.
We'll start here on the front.
Coach, you come out today, get that win. First game to win in a regional since you've been here. Do you kind of feel like you got that monkey off your back?
Yes. I told Christen, I was like, took me 4 tries. 06, 17, 23, 24. Took me 4 tries. 4 tries. So happy. Just another thing that we haven't done before, and still obviously have a lot of baseball left. But yes, monkey off my back. It is gone. Don't bring it up anymore. Okay, not joking. All right, guys. Thank you.
Can I bring it up one more time?
Please.
You talked about how hard it was in yesterday, how much focus on getting this one. Does it give you even that much more appreciation where you said, looking back to 17, kind of took it for granted, and now, 4 tries to get that second win, how difficult these regionals are?
This time of year, more than likely, you're going to play a champion of some sort, right? So, first game, we played a champion. They had won. They were champions of their league, right? Today, this is the Big Ten champion. Like, it is not easy. And when you get to this level and you get to the winner's bracket, which we've been able to do, you're going to face a good team. You're going to face a good team. And it's going to take a game like today to where you're going to have to pitch at a high level, you're going to have to defend at a high level, you're going to have to execute offensively at a really high level. And if you don't, you won't win. So we did that. We did all 3 of those today. We did all 3 of those today, and that's what it was going to take to put us in this position.
Yep, on front.
Coach, Dan kind of touched on it with Trey there, but you moved him into the rotation about in March. What kind of went into the decision then, and did you foresee him kind of becoming your ace down the line?
Well, he's had experience before, and starting experience at the college level, and anytime you can have that, that is a bonus, right? The transfer portal does allow you to be older, and it allows you to develop your high school guys. If you look at our lineup, I feel like we had a great mix that played in this baseball game from a pitching and pitching and an offensive side. When you look at the guys up and down our lineup, Pete is a high school guy, Devo's a high school guy, Nolan McCarthy, James McCoy, Ryan Hagenow. Like, we had a good balance of guys, and the high school recruiting is always going to be our foundation, and if you can add guys that have experience. And I just remember having my first conversation with Trey and asking him, like, what's important to you? And he's like, I want to win. I want to win. I want to go somewhere I can win and develop. And I said, all right, congratulations, you said Kentucky, you're welcome. But, you know, and that's same thing with Brian Nicholson. This is a guy to play for his, you know, state institution in his school to do this. A guy from Louisville, Kentucky, and it means a lot. But these two guys have also been coachable, and they've tried to get better. And you can see Ryan getting better throughout the fall. By the time we started getting to the middle of October, some of you have heard me share stories with him where he started putting together really good batting practices. And his focus during those 20, 25-minute sessions just kept getting better, and he was able to move on after a bad swing and a bad round, and you can see it coming. And so with Trey, Travis was there. Travis had a knot in his lat, so that's why we switched it, and he's been throwing good ever since. And just super proud of him to do this in this environment. If you told him this time last year you're going to pitch in front of, how many people we have today? Have we announced it? 6,000 people. You're going to pitch in front of over 6,000 people to put your team, keep your team in the winner's bracket, to put you one win away from a super. Like, man. But to his credit, he has showed up every day and done everything he can to get better and help Kentucky win.
Okay, we're gonna go over to the far left with Ryan.
Ron Black with Courier-Journal. Nick, I want to ask about in the second inning, obviously you kind of look at, everyone's going to remember Trey getting that strikeout to end it. It was, you know, full count. But just a few hours before that, James had an incredible throw from the outfield that basically kept everyone on the base, prevented any run from scoring. So in hindsight, how big was that play for him to gather it, throw it home, and keep all of them on?
Yes, James is an amazing outfielder, and his defense is absolutely crucial. And I asked our team at the end, you know, I've got the list of all these great defensive plays that I want to go over and with you guys, because there were so many of them. But I asked the guys about the great defensive plays, and they actually hit on every single one. And that was one of the ones that they brought out post-game, because they had to stop them, and it actually saved a run. And these are the things that do not show up in a score sheet, to your point. These things do not show up in a box score. And our sport is like amazing. These stats are awesome, but they don't tell the whole story. They don't tell the whole story because there's so many. Think about that play. Then what about the line drive that he caught over his head to end the seventh? There was a guy at third base. If he does not make that play, that saved another run. So he alone saved us 2 runs. Saved us 2 runs. If he doesn't make both of those plays, the game is totally different. You know, and it's not 4-1 in the ninth, right? So his defense alone, to your point, saved it. I thought Waldy did a great job cutting multiple balls off, and he actually made a play over his head. Awesome job. Nolan did the same thing, cut a ball off in the left center field gap. I can go all around. Guys, look at all these great defensive plays. Devin Burks had 2 key blocks. One of them, he had a backhand with a runner at third base, saved the run. Ryan Nicholson, what about the play he made going down the line against the left-hander, Westcott? Crushed the ball. What an unbelievable play. Then what about the play Grant made up the middle in the 4th? And then Ryan picked it. How about that play? How about the play that Ryan made on the double play? And there's a runner coming back at you to get the throw. It was awesome. Pete's vertical that he mentioned. What a play. We talked about Grant's. What about Mitchell Daly's? We call it HTWA. Does anyone know what that stands for? HTWA. How to win awareness. We had a ball hit down the line that James cut off. And he throws the ball to second base. And Grant was retreating because he thought it was a sure double, but James did such a good job, so he goes back to the bag. Well, he's not there. Well, who was there for backup? Mitch Daly. What a play. HTWA, how to win awareness. There was so many of those plays. So you think about all those plays that happened in a baseball game, and a lot of those aren't going to show up in the box score. But to your point, James, huge play in the ball game.
Okay, we'll go to Jeff.
Nick, as Trey, through demonstrated performance right now, has he kind of earned the right to be, at least from our perspective, to refer to him as your ace?
Yeah, and yes. I mean, we got some other good ones too. I mean, you look at Mason Moore. What is he, 8-3? He's got beat by the same team twice. 2 of his 3 losses are from the same team. That guy could be sitting at 8-1, you know. But I'll let you guys decide what title or label you want to put on him. I like to think our ace, I like the thought of the most important pitcher on our team is whoever's on the mound at that time. That's the most important pitcher. They're our ace. So whoever's on the mound at that time, that mentality needs to be, you're the most important pitcher because you're the one pitching that time, at that moment. In all pitches, And innings aren't created equal, but that mentality of you being the most important pitcher on the team at that time, because you're on the mound, is really important. But if you want to call him Ace, I know he won't argue with you. If you call him our Ace.
Good, John.
Nick, back to the thing about the transfers. With the transfer portal being, you know, in all sports now being, how tricky is it to get that right balance between transfers and your high school recruits as far as building your roster, and how important is it?
Yeah, we got another commitment today out of the portal guy, and he has watched our team play. You have to be able to ask the right questions. There's recruiting and there's evaluating, and those are two different things. The evaluation piece, you have to nail it. That's where it starts, and then the recruiting starts. But if you don't evaluate right, it's going to be hard for you. So I have a series of questions that I ask kids and their families to try to dig up as much information as I can get. Because you know this, but one bad miss on an evaluation can really change. And I give Ryan Hagan out a lot of credit. He's continued to give our coaching staff a lot of credit about the people we've brought in through the portal. And so it's a tricky piece, but we have a series of questions. I have a lot of weaknesses. Christen has told me that one of my gifts is my intuition on people. And I don't take credit for that. I'll give the Lord credit for that, but I want to just build his team, and we got to continue to evaluate right out of the portal, because there's a lot of really good players. But these two guys, among others, when they just say, I want to compete, I want to win, I just want an opportunity, I want to get better, these are some of the key catch phrases. So.
Okay.
Brooke Granger, D1 baseball coach. How important has Ryan Waldschmidt been for you at the top of the order, and how big was that 2-run home run in the top of the ninth to give you guys a little extra breathing room?
He, in a lot of ways, I feel two totally different hitters, but I feel a lot like him when we had Evan White. When Evan White stepped to the plate, you just knew something good was going to happen. And you knew that Evan was never out of an at-bat. Waldy's never out of an at-bat. But he's special, and the guy behind him, too, is pretty amazing, too, and Pete. But we've up and down. This is 2 games in a row where everybody in our lineup gave us at least 2 good at-bats or more. Every guy. And, you know, Waldy hits the 2-run home run, but why was it a 2-run home run? Because Grant, who's played a ton of college experience, draws a walk, a 3-2 walk. And he battles and battles, and it turns into a 2-run home run. Much like Mitch Daly. Why did Ryan Nicholson, why was his a 2-run home run? Because a guy like Mitch Daly stood in there and wore a pitch for Kentucky. You know what I mean? So, but he is the table setter. He can change the game at any point in time. And when we got him back, Bert, when we got him back full time after his ACL surgery, that is when our lineup just took off. And I could really believe in my heart, it was the insertion of him every day, full time, in left field in our lineup. And we've been scoring runs ever since.
Okay, we'll go top left with Dick.
Coach, we've talked a lot about your style of play this year, about how versatile it is. I think these first 2 games are a great example. Obviously, your first run yesterday, don't get the ball out of the infield, 2 bombs today. You got a lot of buttons you can push with your offense. But how often do you tell yourself, I'm not going to push any button, I'm just going to let these guys play it out?
Yeah, a lot of things go into that. The score, I'm just going to peel off about 10 of them for you. The score, the out, the inning, the defense, the pitcher on the mound, the weather, where we're at in our lineup, where they're at in their lineup, what did the guy do his at-bat before, and what is the count? Like, those are 10 factors. So you think about all those different things. And after yesterday's game, I paid Nick Amorati a lot of credit in front of our team. He put on 11 different plays. 11 in one game. He put on 11 different plays. And there's a lot that goes into it, but also forces our opponents to prepare for us. So what about the play that, was it Grant hit right down the line and it hit right off the third baseman's glove? Well, why was he playing right there? Why was he just a tad late? You know this, the threat of the bunt. So we gained an advantage. He lost a step to his left and right by coming in. So there's all these things that go in, and the game of baseball, you guys have heard it say all the time, it's a game of what? Oh man, it is a game of inches. So you're just fighting for one. And this league and this job, it is just, you are fighting for inches. It is like the greatest form of tug of war you've ever seen, and it's just like a flat out stalemate. I use this example at the SEC tournament, and just two teams are just, I mean, they're just pulling. And it's like you gain 1 inch, you're like, yeah, you're doing good, keep pulling. You're like, all right, and then all of a sudden they gain it back, and you're like, oh man, come on, pull harder. And it's just like, you barely move. You barely move. It's like just fighting for inches. I mean, and today was a good example. The play with Grant up the middle, got it where he's out by an inch. Pete jumps up, catches it by an inch. You know, James, Waldy, all these things. And we missed a couple home runs by, I mean, less than an inch on the barrel. I mean, I want you to think about it. If he just, they catch that ball, maybe this much longer. I can see you, John. I see you, John. Like that much more. We have a couple more home runs. This game is just, you got to take care of it. And we do want to attack, and you know what? We're going to make some mistakes, and we're going to make outs. And some of them are not going to be good. And Coach Mingione's going to be frustrated. I'm going to do my best to hold it together. But we have to attack. And I just believe when you put pressure on 18 to 24-year-olds, most of the time it goes your way.
Coach, obviously 2-0 is great, but it seems like your pitching staff is in a really good position. You haven't burned through a lot of arms. Obviously, some teams can be 2-0 and has gone through a lot of their bullpen. Where do you guys sit, and how confident are you going into at least, hopefully just one more game? But you know, if you have to go to 2, how well set up you guys are and prepared to, you know, have a pretty good arsenal of arms for that?
Yeah, obviously what Trey did today was crucial because it's allowed some guys. And I would tell you this, that our pitching staff, guys have been better when they've had a day in between and you don't have to use them on back-to-back days. So I anticipate Ryan Hagen out. He will not be available, but besides him, I feel like we have everyone back. Hoagie, everyone. So we'll have a lot of, you know, bullpen ready to go to try to win one. And if that doesn't work out, then we're gonna have to win another one. So in order for us to do what we want, a minimum of 1 win, maybe 2. So, but their guys are rested, and the job that those 2 guys did was crucial, absolutely crucial.
We have time for a few more. We'll go from right here.
Nick, when you face a team like Illinois that is so power-oriented and almost dependent on the home run, what is on the checklist for somebody like Trey to shut off that water like he did?
Yeah, his ability to mix his pitches was absolutely crucial. And, you know, Trey coming out of the portal, I thought he had one of the best changeups in the transfer portal. He had one of the best changeups. So that was a huge pitch for him today. You heard him say that maybe he didn't land his breaking ball as much as he wanted, but his ability to just throw an off-speed pitch at any point in time, first pitch or behind, the count was absolutely crucial. But his ability to just mix pitches, and you just try to get him a little bit out in front, maybe a little bit late, you throw him enough soft and you beat him by the fastball and they're just a tad off, but his ability to mix pitches was crucial. Before I finish too, I know we got time for a couple more, but I thought our fans were unbelievable. This is in Vanderbilt, that series, they just sat through rain today. I looked up, I was like, look at this is absolutely awesome. They just sat there through the rain and just got soaking wet. And that meant a lot to us, and we felt them. We felt them today. So we're gonna need you again tomorrow, and you might have to sit through rain again. So please, bring it.
Okay, so.
Yeah, Nick, you talk about new experiences, and this is a new experience for you. You don't have to play 2 games on Sunday.
Yes.
You gonna take tomorrow off or morning? What's the schedule gonna be like?
Good question. Good question. I haven't been able to put this little man to bed the last couple nights, so I'm gonna put Reeves to bed tonight. He usually asks me, Dad, you gonna put me to bed tonight? I'm like, yes. Did I save the question? Yeah. You were gonna ask me that, all right. So I'm gonna put Reeves to bed, try to spend time with Christen, and I'll get up in the morning and had a great breakfast today with some close friends of ours. Then we were able to squeeze that in, and then I'll just study both teams again. I'll try to rewatch this game. I'll make sure I'm sharp and fresh on Indiana State. Spent 4.5 hours on them last night after the game, preparing for them. And I'll just make sure that we have our ducks in a row. But I watch so much video, John, it is crazy. Like, it is the amount of time and how much video we watch, it's like, phew. But I'll get up, spend some time in the Word, and yeah, and then I'll just keep studying video, and just keep watching. But I don't know, sleeping in for me lately, I've been getting up at like 6:45. So that's kind of been my sleep in. I don't know, did I answer your question?
What about the guys?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't know if you were talking about me or them. But and that was like a really rambled schedule. I went morning, back and forth, so sorry. The guys will, we won't have a wake-up call for them. We'll basically set our schedule, much like we do on the road for a night game. So their job is to hydrate. You've heard them say that over and over. Every time I ask, they'll get some good rest, and then they'll start showing up to the ballpark, usually around 1, and they just hang out. We have this beautiful facility, and right above us they're just hanging out, playing their music. I looked in there today. Okay, this is unbelievable. I walked in there. They had 4 different baseball games on the big screens in the locker room, and they're just watching baseball. They are like baseball rats. So they'll show up probably around 1, and they'll just watch baseball. That's what they do. They just hang out with each other and watch baseball. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I also want to share about Ryan. You know, we had goatees early in the year. A lot of us, including me. It's because he watches YouTube videos, just like in his free time. And in the 04 or 06 Red Sox, they had these like Jason Varitek and all them. So like he had the whole team growing goatees because they just love the game of baseball. This is a very intelligent, high-level team. And like I mentioned, after the game, I say, hey, what are the great defensive plays? And I have all my notes, got my little sections, and I'm just checking them off because they noticed and they remembered every good defensive play. And I tell them sometimes that they're like baseball rats. They understand the game at a really, really high level. And they'll watch baseball tomorrow. And then we'll play a game to try to get us one more win, and for the fans, for them to have another cool experience.
Any other questions?